Wastewater, fertilizers, and sewage encourage algae and weed growth in the water. Too much algae will block and use up the oxygen in water, leading to lack of oxygen for other organisms in water, which makes the water undrinkable and even clogged. Natural water found on water surface, example, rivers, lakes, lagoons, and oceans, getting contacted with hazardous substances and the substance being dissolving or mixing physically with the waste. Oxygen depleting. Detritivores and saprotrophs biodegrade organic matter. If too much organic matter is in water, their populations boom and use up oxygen. This leaves an opportunity for potentially harmful anaerobic species to thrive, producing toxins and waste from their metabolism. Too much biodegradable matter in water encourages microorganism growth which use up more oxygen in the water. The lack of water leads to aerobic organisms to die out. Dead anaerobic organisms grow more to produce harmful toxins, for example ammonia and sulfites. Groundwater pollution. Existence of pesticides and chemical on soils. Rainwater washes the chemicals into deep grounds, which causes pollution underground. This leads to checking the water when digging wells and boreholes. Suspended water. Material causes pollution does not dissolve in water. For example, plastic. The material settles at the bottom of the water, harming the marine life. Microbiological. Microbiological pollution is the natural form of water pollution that is caused by microorganisms in uncured water. Most of these organisms are harmless, but some bacteria, viruses, and protozoa can cause serious diseases such as cholera and typhoid. This is a significant problem for people in third world countries who have no clean drink water and or faculties to cure the water. Many people drink untreated water straight from rivers or streams. Microorganisms in water can cause living things in water to die, and it can also cause serious illness to human beings. It can lead to death of fishes, and it can also be stuck on seabirds, which will prevent them from flying.
Water pollution is simply anything that makes water unsuitable for use, be it for human use or commercial use. It's just making the water dirty or just not usable and thus useless. I think water pollution is a pretty big problem simply because we need water. If you look at history and the civilizations and cities that started, almost all of them started along places where they could get reliable, safe water. And it's such a basic need that if we don't have it, life as we know it would end. I mean, we can go a couple of weeks without food actually, but we can only go a couple of days without water. And so it's a serious issue that we need to address. How can we address it? Well, it's going to take a lot of effort, and there's going to be a lot of work that everybody needs to do. But I hope that it's not seen as something daunting and impossible simply because it takes a lot of effort. One of the things that I would try to do, that I am trying to do, is to simply limit my use of water. And so one practical way is for me to pick a favorite music song that's 5 or 6 minutes in length. And as I shower, I try to finish my shower within those 5 or 6 minutes. It can be a little tough, but you know what? If it's what I can do to help save water, it's what I'm going to try to do. And so I hope that other people can find little ways for them to use a little less water too.
According to me, water pollution is the contaminations of ocean, lakes, and other water resources. This happened due to our own fault. We dispose chemicals and medications into water, causing them to pollute, but it has a large impact on it. Right now in the world, water pollution is at its worst stage. We have China, a country known for its powerful economy, but out of 1 billion people in China, 600 million people drink water that is contaminated by human or animal waste. This is a big concern. Well, how can we prevent this? We have many ways we can prevent it. There are household preventions such as not pouring our oil and fats from cooking into sinks. That helps us preventing water pollution. Others, like we do not dispose chemicals and medications in water or flush it down. And at large term, we need to build treatment plants to cure this water. Because if you look at China, it's the world's booming economy, and there needs to be a way to stop this water pollution, because water is a necessary source of life.
Alright, so there are 3 questions you wanted me to answer. Number 1, define water pollution in your own words. So I wrote down my answer. Water pollution is to me self-explanatory. It is when water is contaminated by adulterants that come from either humans or industrial waste that come from factories. And once water has been polluted, it becomes harmful not only to animals and marine life, but to humans as well, because then us humans consume the animals that are below us in the food chain, which is almost any animal that lives on Earth besides us. Number 2, what do you think about water pollution currently? So I learned a fun fact. 2 million tons of sewage and other effluents drain into the world's waters. And I think it's daily or not, I'm not sure. But the main cause is because people don't treat their waste, both human and agricultural, properly before draining it into the natural resources on Earth, like the sea or rivers or groundwater. Number 3, are there any ways to fix them? If you say yes, please specify. There are ways to fix this, or at least slow it down. You can fix water pollution by, if big cities started treating their water properly by, adequate filtering before they transfer the water back into the seas. We can help by not throwing, us normal people can help by not throwing litter into our sinks, for example, paint or oil, as well as taking care of runoff management of, when using pesticides or fertilizers. And also the most obvious one, turn off the tap when you're not using the water. It can save a bunch of water, so that can prevent shortages, since we're already having issues with water degradation. yeah, so that's it. Thanks.
One is to take samples of water and measure the concentrations of different chemicals that it contains. If the chemicals are dangerous or the concentrations are too great, we can regard the water as polluted. Measurements like this are known as chemical indicators of water quality. Another way to measure water quality involves examining the fish, insects, and other invertebrates that the water will support. If many different types of creatures can live in the water, the quality is likely to be very good. But if the river supports no fish life at all, the quality is obviously much poorer. Measurements like this are called biological indicators of water quality. Many rivers cross countries while seas span whole continents. Pollution discharged by factories in one country with poor environmental standards can cause problems in neighboring nations, even when they have tougher laws and higher standards. Environmental laws can make it tougher for people to pollute, but be really effective. They have to operate across national and international borders. Most environmental experts agree that the best way to tackle pollution is through something called the polluter pays principle. This means that whoever causes pollution should have to pay to clean it up or way or another. Polluter pays can operate in all kinds of ways. It could mean that tanker owners should have to take out insurance that covers the cost of oil spill cleanups. Don't flush anything down the toilet. Do not flush list: cigarettes, condoms, cotton swabs, needles, medication, diapers, tampons, waste tissues, and paper towels. Some of you might think if thermal pollution is related to water pollution. The answer is yes, they are related to each other. Production and manufacturing plants are our biggest source of thermal pollution. These plants draw water from nearby sources to keep machines cool and then release back to the source with higher temperature. When heated water returns to the river or ocean, the water temperature rises sharply. When oxygen levels are altered in the water, this can also degrade the quality and longevity of life in wildlife that lives underwater. This process can also wipe away stream-side vegetation, which constantly depends on constant levels of oxygen and temperature. By altering these natural environments, industries are essentially helping decrease the quality of life for these marine-based life forms and can ultimately destroy habitats if they are not controlled and careful about their practices. Soil erosion is another major factor that causes thermal pollution. Consistent soil erosion causes water bodies to rise, making them more exposed to sunlight. The high temperature could prove fatal for aquatic biomes as it may give rise to anaerobic conditions. Trees and plants prevent sunlight from falling directly on lakes, ponds, or rivers. When deforestation takes place, these water bodies are directly exposed to sunlight, thus absorbing more heat and raising its temperature. Deforestation is also a main cause of the higher concentrations of greenhouse gases. Urban runoff discharged to surface waters from paved surfaces like roads and parking lots can make water warmer. During summer seasons, the pavement gets quite hot, which creates warm runoff that gets into sewer systems. Natural causes like volcanoes and geothermal activity under oceans and seas can trigger warm lava to raise the temperature of water bodies. Lightning can also introduce massive amount of heat into the ocean. This means that the overall temperature of water source will rise, having significant impact on the environment. Seven main effects of thermal pollution are decrease in dissolved oxygen levels, increase in toxins, loss of biodiversity, ecological impact, affect reproductive system, increases metabolic rate, and migration.